Hey gang, Steve Champagne here. I thought I'd put together a quick video about how I am, prospecting for the free Wi-Fi service, okay? Anytime you approach the business under the guise that you are a potential customer, we call this in the business the cheese and whiskers method. I did not come up with this method, but it's something that marketers have been using for a while. Sometimes we find it hard to transition from that approach over to more where we're going to be a service provider. Okay, so this morning I did a little bit of marketing, like probably like all you are doing in this 30-day challenge, and I did send out one through Messenger. It's Messenger will probably be my secondary method of doing some qualifications here with potential businesses. And for the simple fact is that you really can't do a lot without potentially getting your account banned. So I think email is just as effective, and you can do a lot more with that. Case in point, here's something I did this morning. All right, and I have all these leads in my own little database here that I'm developing, that I'm approaching, and so my goal is to send out 25 to 50 messages a day and just kind of figure out who are the businesses that are going to be easy enough to approach, even if I have to walk in on them. Okay, because one of the things you can get from this data is when you find out when they're responding to your messaging is that when are they actually at the location and what days they're at the location too. And as long as you're approaching them early in the mornings or late in the afternoon, especially at restaurants, you generally can have a conversation with a decision maker, and that's the most important part. So what I did is once I did this, as you can see I got that, I actually switched over and I did it with email, and I sent out 12 emails and I actually got 2 responses to this approach. All right. So if you're not familiar with a service called a Banana Tag, you actually can set up a whole series of pre-messaging and send them out, so you can quickly and easily do this. Okay, so let's do one. I actually just put one lead in here real quickly. Let me find one. So we walk through, and I'll walk you through how I do find my leads, by the way, and you find the decision makers and stuff like that. It's a little bit of legwork, but hey, it's worth it, right? So I just put this one. Meritage is a very large winery just down the street from me, and if I could get in with them, that would be amazing. Actually, one of these leads I have in here, right here, the Spencer lead is actually head of F&B for about 5 properties for 2 wineries and 3 restaurants here in my hometown. So this will be a really good lead too. So I'm pretty excited about that particular one that just came in. So let's see if we can get another one going here for Meritage in Callaway. So I'm going to open this up, and again, this is a personal database system that I'm developing for myself. Excuse me. I'm going to click on this, and this is where this is Banana Tag in a nutshell. So I'm going to click over here. I have these 4 templates set up. The first one is, do you have Wi-Fi? Thanks. Do I need a password, or is it open? And then in this email is where I make that transition I talk about. I'm going to wait a day or 2 from these 2, and then I'm going to follow up. And basically the headline to this is I need to come clean. And then I talk a little bit more about, refer back to the email, and that we have a better solution, okay? And then part 4 is, if they respond to this, is I deliver them the demo link, and then we take it from there. So let's send this out, and we'll hit insert. It's already there. I just have to send. Again, Banana Tag is going to tell me when they open it, okay? And then I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to make a quick note for myself. Sent 11/3, part 1. So I just have a note there for myself, okay? So that's that. So what I want to do for a couple minutes is actually talk about research. And Kevin's quite right about this whole fab concept. You want to do businesses that are actually in business, they're promoting their business, and there's some key indicators when you're doing your research about that. One is, do they have an up-to-date website? Is it professional? If they don't, are they regularly posting on Facebook is a very, very key indicator. The more current it is, then the more engaged they are as far as social media and things of that nature. Looking at Yelp, how many reviews they have there, how many reviews do they have on their Facebook page, The other thing about, I don't know if you know this about Yelp, but you can generally find a decision maker probably about 50% of the pages, okay? And that's how I found this person over here. Let me close this and open this back up. But this is how I found this person right here, Regina S. There's a little place on the right hand side that will tell you, find out more, and 50 to 60% of the time, if they fill that out, you will have a manager or an owner's name that you can actually reference. Okay. And so one of the things I do if I don't find a good email address on the website, there's a service out there, if you're not familiar with this, called Hunter. Okay. And you can get a free plan. You can actually check up to, I think, 100 emails a month with it. And then you can get a pay plan for like $20 a month, and you can do a fair amount for yourself. One of the things, they'll come back and they'll tell you where they actually found the email address. Another trick I do sometimes, if I'm able to actually find a decision maker's name, you can come in here and you can kind of like put their first name in the address, and it'll come back with a verified email. So I've actually been able to find businesses that way. Sometimes first name with a dot, and then last name, or first initial last name, and you do those typical combinations that you see with companies. That's generally how you can find some emails. With smaller companies, generally it's just the first name at. The other thing you can possibly try is the company name at Gmail. I generally find some good emails that way too. Okay, so when it comes to researching, let's find one here that we can definitely research. So this Shamrock one I want to take a look at. I'm going to right click it. I'm going to open it up on another tab. As we can see, this page's claims got 450 reviews. They're constantly getting fresh reviews. They have. You come down here on the right hand side and you see from the business, and if you click on here and learn more from the Shamrock, you click on that, you can generally get a history, and then look what we just found out, who the business owner is. So many people don't do this. I have to say 50-60% of the time, if I find that link and they fill that profile out, that's another thing. If they're taking the time to fill out that profile, it's a good thing. So I know in my database over here, right, that we have Graham's name. So what I'm going to do now is just make sure I add this business into my system, and it's called the Shamrock. There it is. I'm just going to add it in. We have Graham. Check that spelling again. Yeah, Graham. All right, Graham J. All right. And we know he is the owner. So that's part one here, right? The next thing we want to do is kind of figure out, let's go take a look at the Facebook page. So I'm just going to copy this. Jump over to Facebook. I'm going to add it in here, and then I'm going to do a quick scan of, there it is. Nice cover. They're doing good. Lots of people here. Upcoming events. So yeah, you can see they're very, very active. Posted 4 hours ago. So yeah, that's. I'm just waiting for more information here to load here from. What's their hours of operation. So if I was to approach this business, I'd definitely be approaching this business between 10 and 11 as they're getting ready to get open. Maybe even go in after lunch during this period to try to catch the business owner to talk to them. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to their About page. I'm going to scroll down, and look what I have here. I have Paul, right? So Paul must be the manager. Now Dana is the manager. So we got a couple things. We got Graham as the owner, Dana as the general manager. So what I want to do is see whether or not Dana actually has an email address. I don't know who this Paul cat is, right? So I'm going to copy this. Close that. Whoops. Go back. I messed that up. Sorry about that. Let's go here. Let's go to the About. Scroll down. I'll just copy this address. Now we're told who the general manager is, so we do know who the owner is, but in all probability we may want to talk to the general manager first. So let's check a couple emails. So let's go over here, paste this in. Let's just do a quick check on Paul. Make sure that the address is there. We got a verified email address. Wow. Okay, so what's the next thing? Let's find out about Dana, right? Dana is the GM. Let's hit verify. It's an invalid email. She is no. Let's try Dana F. Nope, she is no longer the general manager. So Paul. So let's grab Paul, copy that, and I'll go back over to my database. I'm just going to drop that in there as an email address. One last thing I am going to check is check for Graham, see if he actually has an address there. And if he does, well, we'll communicate with him. And if he gets back with us, we're going with Graham. We're going with Graham. Graham's the big dog. We're going to go with him, and he'll probably point us to talk to Paul, but initially I am going to talk to this man. So now that I have that in here, next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to come here and refresh this. Oops, actually I got to do it from here. Refresh this. I generally do all my research and then come through and do all my send out all my leads. So I'm just kind of doing this in real time. Let me find that lead. Assign to business. Here it is. Let's view this. Because I generally would send this out, like I said, in the morning. This is getting into prime time, lunchtime. It's on a on a Friday. So we'll see if he gets back with us. I may have to send this message out to him again. Part 1, insert, send. So that's really my whole prospecting approach, how I do research, use some kind of CRM to kind of keep track of all this stuff. If not, maybe a spreadsheet. But the cheese and whiskers method works really, really well. I mean, you can find out who your decision makers are, and then you can get in there and start talking to businesses. Hopefully this helps you, and good luck.